So one thing that I get really interested in is electronics, and another thing I get really interested in is art. Digital art, traditional art, 3D, 2D animation, still lifes, landscapes, abstract, and since a long time ago, I've been trying to use electronics to make art and do art that involves electronics. One thing I did way back, I think I was in college, probably around 1980 or 81 or something. I made this 3D stereoscopic display. I had an oscilloscope I built way back in, I think, 8th grade, and some breadboards, a lot of electronic parts, transistors, TTL chips, and I had this idea that I could have some binary counters and DACs, and feed X and Y coordinates to the oscilloscope in XY mode and make a pattern of square dots and actually scan along 3 dimensions. So I had this 4 dots by 4 rows, 4 columns, and 5 layers of these dots. And by putting the scope out of focus, it made it kind of a cool display. There's no shading depth or anything. Just a green glowing spot versus blank on a screen. If I could, I added a memory, a 2102 static RAM chip, which today this is like steam engine, very old. I did this back around 1980, and a lot of the parts I had actually came from 1976 or so. So I had this memory. I could program the bits in the memory on and off, and this 4 by 4 by 4 cube of dots. I could have each dot on or off. I could turn on the 8 corner dots, or turn on a diagonal, or turn them all on except for a few. And I had a lot of fun building this, but I never did anything with it. I should write an article about it maybe, or maybe recreate it in Blender and make some animations and put it up on one of my YouTube channels. Actually, I have just one YouTube channel right now, but I'm working on some others. Toys I had, things I had when I was a kid, but I'm going to include when I was older too, like high school, college. It was a toy just to try out the idea that those dots, not only did I have left and right views of the same cube of dots seen in 3D from slightly different angles, so you could, I had this thing with a couple lenses I taped together with plastic and cardboard pieces I'd laying around, and you could look through these 2 lenses at the oscilloscope screen and see the left and the right as a 3D object with true perspective. The dots that were in the back part of the cube were closer together, smaller, so I had the depth with the Z coordinate along with different points of view for left and right, and you could rotate the whole thing by turning some knobs. Well, you couldn't really rotate, I had to cheat. It's more of a shear where if you move things like layers sliding past just a little bit, it can look like rotation. I did write an article about this, and it's up on my personal website, DarrenScottWilson.com. If you look around, you'll see something about it. Was it 4 by 4 by 4 or was it 8 by 8 by 8? I don't remember now. Anyhow, so the stereoscopic display, there's an electronic schematic drawn by hand from the time I did it that I scanned in. And it's something that you could do today even. If you have TTL chips and a static memory chip, it doesn't have to be the same kind. But it all runs on 5 volts, simple couple transistors for voltage controlled amplifiers, and just cheap parts you can get at Radio Shack, which doesn't exist anymore. Fry's, oh, that doesn't exist anymore. Wherever you get parts, DigiKey, Jameco. But it could be a fun science fair project. It could be educational. Someone might be able to do more with it than what I did. Add some more features to it, have more dots, have the dots get dimmer with distance. If people have questions and want to do their own projects, I could help with that. It's it's electronics and engineering and art. Not great art. It's not going to be hanging in the Louvre next year or anything, but it was fun.